A lot of people waiting for this one, Mike. I got to ask you a serious question. How does my pandemic haircut look?
Not good.
Not good? I did it myself. Huh?
Did you put a little milk on there and the cat licked it off, or what happened?
I just, couple videos
With
about
what?
how to, just a trimmer, there's like videos about how to cut your own hair. And I mean, you could write it. There's no
Hopefully you're not
magic.
lifting weights with canned goods like Travis Bickle in your apartment too.
No. I mean, normally I get my hair
Taxi
cut
driver.
every 2 or 3 weeks, but it's been almost 3 months.
Jason Goodman in Taxi Driver 2. They sent him over the edge, cut his own hair,
The
got in
mohawk.
shape.
Yeah. That would have been a good look for
Get on
tonight's
the
show.
streets, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
One day a real rain will come and wipe the filth off the streets. We're still waiting. We're still waiting.
Mike, in half an hour, we're going to be underway with the sponsor exclusive More Pain. People watch every Tuesday night on patreon.com/TruePundit, patreon.com/crowdsource the truth and Subscribestar. Has True Pundit migrated to Subscribestar now as well?
Yeah, well, we just got set up. I have to. It said Subscribestar/True Pundit, but we haven't done anything with it yet. I just literally saw that yesterday morning, so it's up and running, so to speak. But we haven't. I mean, you could go on there if you want to, and
maybe next week we'll start populating.
I think next week it'll be
some of the videos
jammed up. We'll fill it up next week with stuff, which is good.
Right. And of course, a lot of people have been watching and enjoying the Thomas Paine podcast. We talk about that every week. Your breaking news on there. And people who become sponsors on patreon.com/TruePundit get special access to the video version of Paine in the Morning. This is a great way for people to keep up with the news. Mike, we got a lot to talk about tonight. You want to kind of lead us in here?
They can watch a man come unglued on a nightly basis. It's better than any Netflix series. Well, what I do with the news on a daily basis, a lot of people, I read it and I refuse, like these guys prep it for me, and I refuse to read it beforehand. So I just go into it live, and then I make smart ass cracks through it and things like that. But I do it to stay sharp, right? Because I have nobody left to make fun of at my house. I usually out and about making fun of, and you can't make fun of your family all day long. They'll end up hating you more than they already do. So
gotta avoid that.
So I use it like it's like a good session to stay sharp. So, and people seem to like it, so we're going with it. And the video's fun because they get to see, like I said, literally, but usually about midway to the 3/4 mark of those morning shows, I'm ready to lose my mind or the process of losing my mind. You just can't believe the stuff that's going on in the news. These people that somehow are magically in charge of us, they're wrecking us. And they're some of the dumbest people you'd ever want to see anywhere. I don't think these guys could hold a job anywhere other than the government. And they're telling us how to live. I mean, how many people did Cuomo kill in New York with his nonsense in the nursing homes? I mean, and I said 6 weeks ago, not to go off on a tangent, I saw some dope yesterday in the media.
Oh, Mike, you froze there. Hang on a second. Let me get your audio back on here.
What happened in New York, some outside examination. I said 6 weeks ago when this was breaking, if we had a functional Department of Justice, they should be looking at New York to see if any of this stuff was done intentionally. Because you could certainly make an argument that nobody is this feckless, nobody is this useless. Some of this had to be, I think, worth investigating. Maybe it's intentional. I don't know.
It's hard to say. The second you started talking about Cuomo, we had a little crash. It's funny. Sometimes these computers work for hours on end with no problem. Sometimes somebody mentions Andrew Cuomo and the computer crashes right away. A lot of people have heard me talking, Mike, about this effort I'm putting into making a redundant system to prevent these Skype failures because they seem to be happening.
I didn't know what happened. You got up out of your chair and I thought maybe Dershowitz snuck in and got your ass.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Dershowitz. People have been really talking about that Dershowitz clip, and we're going to talk about that a bit more. What did you think when you saw that?
I watched it. I don't know what's going on with my tripod. It keeps slipping down, but we'll fix it before the half-hour mark. The pre-show is just to get the technical snafus out of the way. Right. But I watched that, and I was like, what planet did this guy was he beamed down here? Like, he sounded like a guy who was under duress to me. Like, he was reading from a cue card, number one. Number two, suddenly he forgot the history of his former client, Jeffrey Epstein, for the last 20 years, pretending like, oh, what he was involved in alleged sexual blackmail. No, that's a conspiracy theory. I was like, what is this guy talking about? Conspiracy theory? That's mainstream, brother. It's been all over the place, including with the number of people in the federal government.
Sorry, Mike. Hang on quick. Second. There we go. You should be back. You should be.
Yeah, you there?
Yeah. It's just a big deal when this thing crashes to get it back in. I'm trying to make that a smoother process.
The main show, we go for like an hour and a half, and it's usually smooth. I don't know what happens in the pre-show. Maybe it has something to do with our idiot friends at YouTube. No offense to, well, yeah, take offense to that, but but I didn't know what to make of that story, and that was just the one thing you're saying about Epstein. Then what he said about the needles, I was like, come on, this guy, what is he talking about, right? I have to tell you, I don't care if it's his interpretation of the Constitution says the government could stick a needle in my arm. That means I can stick one in their fucking neck when they come to put one on my arm. That's how I feel. My Constitution is 1776, baby. You want to come looking for me and do shit to me that I don't like? I can strike back. What's the matter with that? So throw me in jail. I don't give a fuck.
But let's talk about it for a second, because this is important, and this is what the interview has become about. I actually felt the most important stuff that he was saying was not the stuff about the Constitution, because people need to keep in mind, Alan Dershowitz is not a congressman, he's not the president. This is just a guy giving us his opinion, and frankly, he wasn't even correct with what he was saying about that Jacobson v. Massachusetts. Right. But the stuff he was saying about Alexander Acosta, the stuff that he was saying about Epstein, to me, that was explosive. He came right out and accused the former labor secretary, the same guy who was a U.S. attorney in Florida when they made this sweetheart deal. Dershowitz accused him of lying, and that's been buried in part because a malicious social engineer took the vaccine clip, eliminated the crowdsource the truth logo, and blasted it out on Twitter. How does a guy with 1/3 the Twitter following get 100,000 views on a video? I mean, I've got 30,000. This guy had 9. He had over 100,000 views on crowdsource the truth.
Well, it's another thief. It's another thief who.
No. It's not that, Mike. I think he did this deliberately to redirect people's attention away from the stuff about Acosta and Dershowitz and Epstein.
Maybe, but the basic fact is this, okay? Well, we could go either way. What do you want to talk? You want to talk about the vaccines, or you want to talk about Epstein? I could talk about anything. This guy.
Talk about all.
Number one, I'll just say this right now about Dershowitz, right? I've been saying, and again, I'm right. I don't get tired of being right if anybody's going to ask me that question, and who does? I've said for well over 2 years, keep an eye on this guy. Something's off about this guy. On Twitter, out in the open, people like, you're wrong. He is a patriot. He is this, he is that. I heard it from these other people who I follow who have no experience in journalism at all, and who just out of nowhere have 500,000 followers and are on a television set. You're wrong. What do you know? Oh, I might know a few fucking things, right? A few things that they don't know. I've been doing this 35 fucking years, okay? So. Yeah. And I do what so few people do anymore, and it's really a shame. I take a position and I stick with it. I never wane. Nope.
Unless new information arrives.
Unless new information arrives. I stick to it. And I said, well, I'll wait for everybody else to come around, right? And then I see this thing on Sunday. I watched it on Saturday and then Sunday, and then we posted it yesterday. We did a story. And I said, yeah, you're right. You were right. You were right again, right? Something's off about this guy. I can't really say what I want to say about him because this fucking guy will sue me because he's a maniac.
Hmm.
So read between the lines, right? Look at his history. Look what he's accused of, right? He's it's problematic. Like regular people who behave themselves don't be accused of these certain things. Now his word, what he's saying in the case, I think he hurt himself. I think your interview is groundbreaking because I think he tainted his previous public testimony of being innocent. That he's and I'll just keep it at that.
Yeah.
And what he said about Acosta makes no sound the truth, right? And Acosta had it coming to him to a certain degree. As a U.S. attorney in Miami, you don't cut deals with child molesters and pedophiles, and it comes back to haunt you as it should. So he got a little taste of karma that he should have gotten in the first place by giving this Epstein guy a slap on the wrist. And guys like Dershowitz, they just try to remake reality. Like all this stuff already happened, Chief. This isn't up for debate. This is public record. This stuff has already gone down, and what is he even talking about? And then the vaccine thing could be another spin. I don't know. What he said was outlandish.
Something very important, Mike. You said you felt like he was reading a script, and the thing we're going to get into in just about 20 minutes when we proceed with the sponsor exclusive segment of the program. We're going to get into detail on this, but I agree with you that it seemed like he was reading a script. It made no sense to me that Dershowitz would answer these questions at all. He could have easily told me, look, attorney-client privilege survives the death of the client, so I don't want to speak about Jeffrey Epstein. Let's talk about the constitutional stuff having to do with the lockdowns, etc. He could have said that, but he didn't. He wanted to put this message out, and I agree with you. He has introduced doubt with regard to everything that he's said previously. Because if Alexander Acosta was lying about Epstein being intelligence, why would he say that? It seems to have cost him his job. And that's the type of thing.
That was a slip.
Right.
Well, he was under the microscope. When you back a political animal into a corner, they say do things they shouldn't have said or done it. You might be witnessing that with Dershowitz. I mean, he might be under some duress from different things too. I mean, so he might have said some things he shouldn't have said. He might have caught him at a bad moment for him. I mean, that happens in interviews.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. And that's what I think is happening with this blasting of just... See, I'm very happy, obviously, that the interview is getting traction and people are seeing it. But I'm just observing that it seems that it's been edited, and the edited portions are getting more play than the overall video, and that leaves out all the stuff about Acosta, all the stuff about Epstein, and it focuses on Dershowitz's opinion of the vaccines, which in my view was not the most important part of the interview.
Yeah, okay, that's a valid point. I think that's a valid point. But then you see like this media machine go into effect where you caught somebody, I'm going to say with their pants off. I think that could be a fun pun with Dershowitz based on the allegations against him. Mr. The underwear lawyer.
We lost you again there, Mike. Somebody's really hitting this thing.
Then a lot of people rush to try to help them get dressed again before it gets a little bit too drastic out there and things spin out of control. The problem for them is you broke this on a weekend, and most of these people are half in the bag on the weekend. They don't wake up till Monday, so you got you got them at a good time, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's just one of the things we'll talk about tonight, and
Mike, you'll be pleased to know. This is the first time I've had two hits in one show. The computer just crashed again.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. With the things that have been going on around here lately, and things with the podcast, we've had serious technical issues with the podcast, different host providers, and you're just starting to think, is it me? Yeah, you know what? It's probably me. It's no matter where we go, there are these technical issues and these problems, and it's not conspiracy theory. It's actually it's out of. I would love to tell people out there one day really what goes on behind the scenes in the media with these people, all the people, your favorite media types, right? The backbiting, the backstabbing, the lies. It's just it's hard to get into this business if you want to play it straight without having to get down in the gutter and street fight gutter snipes and scumbags. And I just don't have time for that. So, I mean, look what happened to you, right? You had a great interview. Somebody, next thing you know, it gets plucked. They're taking diversions away from you, diverting attention away from you. It's frustrating. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about tonight with the FBI, the DOJ, with Barr, a lot of things that have been breaking, and we're going to get into that as well. And I might say some things I shouldn't say because I'm in kind of a bad mood tonight. And I usually say things I shouldn't say and give up secrets that I shouldn't give up yet because they're not exactly right. But I'm getting to the point where I don't give a shit because I don't like.
Sorry, Mike. Okay, we're back.
I don't like the direction of the country. I'm not necessarily very happy with my fellow countrymen sitting around on their asses, not doing anything about it, and so I've been increasingly critical of just the overall state of the screwed up state, and there are a number of people out here that are breaking their ass trying to. This isn't about making money. Give me a break, right? Breaking their ass trying to give people a roadmap to follow to try to prevent these assholes in the government from clamping down on us further. And many people just don't seem engaged. So it's starting to make me wonder, what is the point of all this? What is the point of sticking your neck out and stuff? So it's frustrating. Now, that's just part of me. The other part of me says we journey on, we scrap, we fight, that kind of thing, and can't give up. But where's everybody at? I mean, it's like, I hate to break the news, it's crunch time. You're locked in your house, locked away in your houses. Civil liberties are vanishing, and people are just like, oh, well, it'll all be over. It's not going to be over. These guys, you have to understand, whenever they take something from you, you never get that back. They never cede any ground when they take the ground. They just take more and more and more. And by the time you wake up, your Constitution looks like a dish rag.
We're
you know
there.
What I'm saying?
Dershowitz wants them to jam needles in you. Cuomo won't let you talk to people in the park.
I'm not playing games. If you come in here with a needle for me and my family, it's not going to go well. It's just not going to go well. I don't give two shits if you shoot me fucking dead. I don't care. I'm going down swinging. I don't care. I mean, maybe I'll be the fucking crazy big farmer Rosa Parks or something. You know what I mean? Maybe it takes. That's my new nickname, Big Farmer Rosa Parks. Somebody's got to pick a fight here, right? The question is anybody going to stand up and rally behind it? I mean, these fucking guys will take everything you got.
Yeah.
Everything
We've got
you got.
Red Fox in the chat, Mike, telling us about this.
I thought he was dead.
So did I. But he's here telling us about Jacobson v. Massachusetts, which Jacobson got a fine. He was not forced to be vaxxed.
Can you imagine your ancestors and your grandparents and your great-grandparents and their parents coming over here trying to carve out a life, somebody showing up at their door with a needle to stick in their head, and them sitting there saying, oh, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. They escaped oppression like this in other countries, whether it's Romania, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, I mean, Germany. My grandparents are from Germany. My great-grandparents were from Germany, and their parents, they came over right before all the bullshit started with Hitler. So can you imagine fleeing this type of oppression and then knowing that years later they would just circle back in the United States? Like, I mean, they're not here to say anything about it, but they must be rolling around in their graves saying, wow, we should have just stayed where we were. It would have been a lot easier.
Huffman Aviation says, don't jab me, bro. Going back to the taser video.
It's insane. It's really, I saw that and I said, all right, is that what it's going to come down to? I will. I'll be the first asshole to get blown away with a gun or something because I'm not taking it. I'll come out with a fucking hatchet from the garage. Whatever, man. I'll go fucking Geronimo on somebody.
People have been reading into this case, Mike, this Jacobson v. Massachusetts. Razor Queen is giving us some more details. Jacobson was given a waiver. I mean, I remember I read in there that he didn't get the vaccine. He got a fine. And we're going to get into detail. There's a lot of things that Dershowitz said. Forget about looking at the case law. Even within the context of what he said, it made no logical sense. So he was contradicting himself. And I want people to remember, Dershowitz is not a lawmaker. He's a lawyer. His job is to argue whatever side of the argument he's on and do that convincingly. I mean, he's trying to convince us that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't trafficking children and engaging in sexual blackmail. But we'll get in depth, Mike, in just less than 10 minutes on patreon.com/truepundit, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Our viewers have become basically accustomed to staying up late and catching the latest version of the Thomas Paine podcast. That's usually coming out late Tuesday or
we got
Wednesday
a good one.
morning.
We got a good one tomorrow. We are tomorrow's a flamethrower. We're shooting some truths and stuff. Like there's nobody out here. There's like a handful of guys, yourself included, that are telling the truth. All these guys with big names in the media, they're fucking liars. They're lying to you to put money in their pockets, to improve their brand. They don't have enough balls to tell you like it is out here. It's all safe. It's all controlled. Even your favorite guys you love listening to, if they're mainstream and they're employed in any fashion as a correspondent or whatever, they're controlled robot. They're controlled. Okay? They're going to mislead you every time. And
people who don't believe what you're saying, Mike, the control, even if they don't know it, when somebody pays you $2 million, $5 million, whatever all these people on the news are getting, 700,000, whatever the number is, those people make a lot of money, even if it's 100,000. You start talking about, hey, Alan Dershowitz, wasn't Epstein like blackmailing scientists at Harvard?
They would never ask
They'd
that
fire
question.
me.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
you'd be gone.
Right.
You would be gone.
But this is why it's so important,
I see
Mike,
these dopes interviewing, real quick, I see these dopes interviewing Nunez, asking him softball questions. If I sat with that guy, I would rip his head off in an interview in 30 seconds. They'd come in and tackle me, not in a physical way. I would destroy Nunez for what I know about him. And these guys are saying, "Oh, what's it like to be in Congress?" I'd be like, "What?" Like he's doing the podcast circuit. I'm like, if I had 2 minutes with this guy, he'd be in a corner crying like a little baby. You know what I mean? And that's why they won't let real people and real journalists question these people. Even if you think they're on your side, they're not on your side. Wake up, man. Tune in to what we've been saying. Stop listening to professional liars manipulate you.
Yeah. But this is why it's important that people participate in the sponsor exclusive show and join us on patreon.com/truepundit and on Crowdsource the Truth, because we're not getting paid millions of dollars from some, editor who tells us what to do. We're not getting sponsored by some giant corporation that might not want us to, reveal whatever it is that Dershowitz is trying to hide. The viewers are the sponsors. So people know that they are the ones who we are delivering this information to. And it's important that we eliminate that financial influence from the news business. And that's why we've chosen to do it this way. I hope that people will join us. We're going to start in just over 5 minutes. So we've got
we have a lot of fun
over there.
Yeah, we'll
a lot of stuff to talk about.
Sorry for yapping.
No, it's okay. I like it. But we're going to make the switch now. And we've got people in the comments. Thank you, Trad Itio. I can't even read that name, but Trad is a sponsor.
It's Italian guy.
I don't know. It's hard to read. But we'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll see everybody. Thanks to all of the generous Patreon and Subscribe Star sponsors who make the show possible. See everybody at 8:30. Thanks for watching.